Hello and welcome to Missoula Live. I'm Kim Anderson. I'm the Director of Programs and Grants with Humanities Montana, and I'm on the board of MCAT. Joel Baird, who is usually sitting next to me on a lovely sofa, is our cameraman for this first episode. So he's behind the camera, I'm in front of the camera, and we're going to jump right into our first segment, and I'd like to welcome Megan Kelly from Big Sky High School. Megan is a junior at Big Sky, and she's here to talk about the Big Sky Science Circus, which, as she said to me earlier, is like a science fair on steroids, and is happening at Big Sky High School this coming
Friday and Saturday.
So how big is the Science Circus?
It's pretty big. We have most of Health Science Academy at Big Sky participating, and that leads to like a ton of groups. We're taking up both gyms, like a hallway down and by our cafeteria and in our cafeteria.
Wow.
So it's a lot of space that we're taking up. So,
have you always been interested in the sciences?
I actually have not. When I joined high school, I joined the Health Science Academy, and that got me way more interested in the sciences, and the different classes that I take definitely boosted that up too.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's in front of us here on the table?
So this is just a stir play. I'm going to actually get it going so that the water starts mixing, because it makes that little click noise.
We're going to do it. You're going to do, not we, you are going to do an experiment here live.
Yeah. It's called the Milk Magnesia Fountain. So in here is just about a liter of water. It's a little bit more just because of that ice. And then the cold temperature just helps the reaction go a little bit faster and go a little bit smoother. And then milk magnesia, that just...
Staple of everyone's grandmother's medicine cabinet.
Oh yeah, just like Pepto-Bismol does the same exact thing. A lot of kids don't end up knowing what milk magnesia is. I've been performing a lot of demos and they're like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, you know what Pepto-Bismol is?
It seems pretty old school, yeah.
Oh yeah. But this one just seems to work the best with the acid change. And then just a little bit of the universal indicator. This just helps us see the pH balance change through color.
And you promised me this wasn't going to explode,
It will not explode.
Excellent.
That's why it's one of the easier ones to do. So, as you guys can tell, it's the dark purple kind of color. The light helps us see it a little bit better because when we turn it off, it's just, that light just helps see it.
Sure.
But the longer that it mixes, the darker kind of a purple color that it turns, and this is just a little bit of hydrochloric acid.
Oh.
The stuff can get kind of dangerous, but we really diluted it, and it just bumps up the pH balance change.
Just enough.
Oh yeah. So this is kind of like your stomach. This is kind of like spicy food. And the milk magnesia helps your stomach when you eat the spicy food.
Okay.
And then when you pour in just a little bit, it causes the pH balance to change, which causes it to turn that light color. And then once that milk magnesia kicks in, it'll start changing colors back to that dark blue, purple kind of color. Just bumps the acid level back down. So like when you take that milk magnesia, helps restore your stomach to that regular acid.
So it's what they call neutralizing the acid? That's amazing.
Is it gonna go?
I don't know.
Is it gonna go?
Maybe it was too spicy.
Maybe it was.
Oh, it's starting to change a little bit.
A little bit. We're gonna do this. Oh, there it goes. Just kidding. We poured in a little fake amount. Yeah, so that
is awesome.
Yeah, and the longer that you let that stir, it'll turn back down to that purple kind of blue color, and you can keep doing this over and over again. So I can go for more. We can go for more.
Okay, so you can just keep adjusting the balance back and forth. And will the milk of magnesia, the amount that's in there now, will you have to bump that up because you're bumping up the acid?
After a really long time, but it usually takes a little bit. But if I were to add that right now, it goes back a little bit faster. So then that milk and magnesia will start kicking in, and it'll turn that yellow color again.
Super cool.
Yeah, so I'll actually be performing this at the Science Circus as well.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah. Now, I want to get all the details clear for the audience about the Science Circus. But first of all, can you just talk for a minute about what you called it the Health and Sciences Track?
Health Science Academy,
Academy at Big Sky, and what its purpose is and why you're a part of it?
Of course. So Health Science Academy is just like, it's not so much like an academy itself, it's like a program within Big Sky. So when you start Health Science Academy, 6 of your 8 classes freshman year are all health science and all with health science teachers, like all health science classes, and you're all with students from the Health Science Academy.
So it's a specialization in
and then through the 4 years you take 4 different classes that they don't offer to the regular high schoolers, which is Principles of Biomedical Science, where you like solve a person's death, Like you figure out whether they committed suicide.
What's that noise for the?
Yeah.
Doo-doo.
Oh yeah. So then sophomore year it's human body systems. It's anatomy and physiology. And then junior year, which is what I'm in right now, is medical interventions. And then fourth year, my next year's class is biomedical interventions and just learning about the different things within health and science.
So, look at the color now.
Oh, yeah.
So all of these classes are preparing you for possible careers.
Yes.
In health sciences field.
Yeah, and they're also just a little bit more rigorous, and that's why I really enjoy them. I like the harder,
Very
faster-paced classes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, fascinating. It's
Yeah.
so great that you have that option there. And
Yeah.
that's only at Big Sky.
It's only at Big Sky. It's not at any of the
Right.
other high schools.
Well,
So-
congratulations.
Thank you.
So Big Sky Science Circus is happening March 15th from
6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
6 p.m. to 8 p.m., March 16th, which is Saturday.
From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay, and it says here there's a $3 entry fee.
Yeah, per person, but that just helps, like, for us buying all the
supports
stuff.
all the cool magic.
Yep, it just
that's
goes back
happening.
into the science department for all the money that they had to put out
That's
originally
great.
for it.
And how many experiments and exhibits and kids are going to be involved, do you think?
I couldn't even count. There's a
Lots.
lot. There's lots, yeah. Yeah.
And is it a good thing to bring your kids to?
Yes, it's
Like if you
ages
would-
4 and up.
So that would be cool. If you think you have a kid who might be interested in health sciences,
Yeah.
then this would be the perfect opportunity to bring them over and
And even if you would think that it's boring or something, like we have a lot of fun things that interact with the kids. Not everything is health and science related. Like we have people with fondue crickets. Like you literally put them in the chocolate and you eat them.
okay.
Yeah. So it's just those different kind of things that gets kids interested in, like
Yeah.
the liquid nitrogen that makes ice
There's
cream.
a certain gross out factor.
Oh yeah.
that's-
There's gotta be. It's science. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Megan, congratulations again.
you.
Thanks for being here. And
course.
everybody should go check out the Science Circus at Big Sky High School this Friday and Saturday, March 15th and 16th.
Whoa! Hello, I'm MCAT, and so can you. This spring break between March 25th through the 29th, your kid can join us for Spring Flicks. It's a week-long camp that provides kids 9 to 13 years old with activities and more at your local television station. Go to MCAT.org or the link above to sign up for fun camps.
Hi, I'm Acting Secretary of the Army Patrick Murphy.
And I'm Nadia West, Surgeon General.
As we celebrate Women's History Month, we honor all women for their military and civil service.
Women continue to play a major role in shaping America's history, exemplifying our highest values as soldiers, DA civilians, and family members.
You know, women have proudly served the Army and our nation with distinction since our earliest days. We're currently in the longest wars in American history in Iraq and Afghanistan, where more than 1,000 women have been killed or injured in combat.
But we have made historic strides in 2015 with our first female Ranger School graduates.
And we can't forget you, General West, the Army Surgeon General, who's also the highest-ranking female West Point graduate ever.
Thank you, sir. And each of us succeeded, showing that women from all backgrounds and ranks are essential for a strong Army.
You know, they're role models for future generations like my own daughter and son. Thank you for your selfless service and support for our nation.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
Tonight, along the Texas Gulf Coast, utter devastation. Harvey barreled ashore overnight, packing 130-mile-an-hour winds, blinding sheets of rain, and a treacherous storm surge.
Harvey can't mess with Texas.
So donate now to help make Texas whole again.
Oh, we're back. I am back from behind the camera. Thanks so much for joining us. Isn't it so much warmer, too, than 2 weeks ago?
You know, the sun is out.
Right.
I'm not going to complain.
I'm not going to complain either. And I'm not going to talk about MCAT stuff, except I
No.
might forget. MCAT's going to be in the St. Patrick Day Parade.
I know, I saw your notice.
Yeah.
I can't be there.
That's all right.
Sorry.
But for folks at home, we're going to be live streaming the parade on our Facebook page, and we'll be in it. And I got some extra special candy.
Right. Okay.
So I would like to introduce Katrina and Asa from the Water Education Network. Welcome. Thanks for waiting to be on. Thanks for being on. So what's going on? You guys are still looking for volunteers, right? As spring is just around the corner.
Always looking for volunteers.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have the beautiful new website. Scott can show the people at home. The beautiful new website has a sign up for volunteering that uses the network, like the Missoula Volunteers or something like that. It looked really good.
Thank you.
So what do people need to know about volunteering?
Well, firstly, they should hear about our stream team,
Okay.
which ASA coordinates. Yeah, so I'm the stream team coordinator, and we are going to have our Rattlesnake Creek Citizen Science group. And so it's open to the public, and we are going to get folks out on Rattlesnake Creek. And we're going to help out with some of our partners, like Trout Unlimited, to do the monitoring on their proposed dam removal on Rattlesnake Creek.
Yeah, so that's really an important part, right, of the volunteer monitoring, is that City of Missoula, having acquired the water company now some years ago, is in a position of power to be able to affect positive change, and one of those positive changes would be removing the dam that now impedes the flow of the Rattlesnake Creek.
Yes, exactly. So they're hoping to do that 2020, and so we are going to be collecting the baseline data during the dam removal and after. And so we want to engage citizens to help us out with that.
What sort of things will you be measuring?
Yeah, so we are going to be doing like physical properties of water. So that'll be stream flow, how fast the water is moving and how much water is coming down, temperature, dissolved oxygen. We're doing macroinvertebrates, which everybody loves. We go out there with a net and we collect bugs and we get to identify them. So it's a little bit of everything. We do chemistry, the biology, and then the physical properties.
And do you have a lot of those waders for people?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yes.
I mean, that can be an important point. Some of you might say, I would do it, but I don't have the equipment to do it. But you would supply like those waders and nets.
Yep,
and
we have all the gear that you need as long as you bring a lunch and a hat and some sunglasses and you're good to go.
And do people need to have any sort of science background or? Oh, that sounds like a great thing to do. We're showing the
yeah,
creek
Scott's showing
now.
like a little video. That's nice.
Yeah.
So
and is that rattlesnake?
That is rattlesnake. Yeah, that was last year. And so we're actually going to kind of move on past the dam too this year. So a lot of the stuff that we've done in the past with Stream Team has been below the dam. And now we're going to move up past the dam and collect some more data. So we're going to also have another component to the Stream Team, and it's going to be the backcountry Stream Team.
Oh, so when you say past the dam, you mean before the dam influences the water flow? Like north of it?
Yep,
Okay.
upstream.
Upstream.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have our regular stream team, and then we're going to have the backcountry stream team. And currently we have Sawyer Megan, who is a student at the university. He's going up on cross-country skis backcountry to collect water samples for a groundwater thing that he's doing for school.
Oh,
and
that's
so
great.
we're kind of sponsoring him and letting him use gear and stuff like that. So we're kind of piggyback off of his and use some of that and continue going farther upstream into the rattlesnake wilderness.
Now, people are sold. Let's say they're like, well, I'm not doing much. I need to get out of the house.
Right.
I think those waders look really cute. I want to get into a pair. What do they do next?
Visit montanawatershed.org,
Right.
firstly. And secondly, if you have the availability, come to our stream team and volunteer orientation and training on April 13th.
Excellent. So it's coming up.
Yeah.
And that way you'd introduce people to all the gear, all the scientific instruments that they would use in the course of providing this data about the Rattlesnake Creek.
Yep, April 13th at our office, which is 802 East Front Street.
Right by the Pizza Hut,
Right behind Pizza Hut.
by the Eastgate Shopping.
Exactly.
It's a house. They're in the Chuck Junkel house.
Right.
Yeah.
Cozy little house.
Yeah.
10 a.m. to noon?
10 a.m. to noon. Yep, and we'll have coffee and muffins.
Nice. Well, is there anything you want to add? I know you have to go to work, so.
She's got some stuff for you.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I
Let's
do.
have it.
Sure. So, apart from our citizen science stream team, we also offer school stream monitoring programs. And we're also looking for volunteers to help with those river field trips and groundwater lessons. And how you would get involved with that is through the same process. Visit our website, sign up for a training.
And this way you could be a leader of the little ones?
Yes.
Oh, it seems really
So are
much fun.
these programs that you offer to school classes around the
and
area?
we also this summer are partnering with the Missoula International School to run summer camp, and we did that last year, and it was such a magical experience. Yeah, so great.
I mean, you guys are the perfect host for a summer camp. Who doesn't
Yeah,
want to
'cause
do
it'd be
that?
outside.
Cooling down in the creek.
Yeah, getting muddy.
Exactly.
I mean, the greatest danger is sunburn, I should think. And you go,
Well, we take really good care
yeah,
of
and you
little
take
ones.
care of them.
Yeah.
That's great.
So if you know of anybody ages 7 to 12,
Right.
send them our way.
Send them your
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And teachers, too, that may be watching, if they are interested in a field trip for their kids.
Most definitely.
If they're very, very good kids,
Only the good ones.
right, they
Yeah.
might be able to go out in May or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can teachers find out about possibilities for getting a program or doing a program with your organization on the website?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's great.
Katrina
Website.
just remodeled the website. It looks beautiful.
It is,
you.
yeah. And
It
all
really
this
does.
video is so great.
Oh, look, they're
wonderful.
collecting macro
Yeah, they are. It looks fun.
It does, really. So people go to the website,
Right.
find out several opportunities. One, individual opportunities, become part of the stream team for monitoring the Rattlesnake Creek,
Yeah.
especially in light of the dam removal, which is really exciting. Another opportunity is you become a kid leader.
Yeah.
Kid leader, so you'd learn this stuff. And you guys have an orientation in April.
Yes.
We do.
All right, anything else?
Well, we do have Fish Week coming up and a
What?
couple of pint nights.
Oh, Pine Nights are important fundraisers.
Yes.
Well,
I've
let's
been looking
talk about
into
the
it.
Pint Nights.
Good.
We have one coming up at Baird Brewery on Wednesday, April 10th, and then at the Dram Shop on Tuesday, April 16th.
Nice.
10th and 16th, pick your favorite beverage,
Yeah.
go support.
Absolutely.
And you guys get a portion of all the
Yeah,
sales
we do.
during your evening.
Yeah.
Now, Bayern, is that the one just north of the railroad tracks?
No.
That's
Say
Kettle
good-
House.
This is
Kettle House.
closer to Good Food Store.
It's, west of Russell.
Oh, I know where it is.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you go down, help
Wyoming.
me. No, Yeah.
It's on like Wyoming or something, one of the.
3rd Street.
Yeah.
You go down 3rd. Yeah. You guys know
it
where
up.
it is.
We do. and
Look
we're
it up,
happy
I'm
to
sorry.
provide directions.
Good, because I always wonder,
Yeah.
do people know? Well,
There's a
Kim
lot-
knows this from co-hosting so many
Master of
years.
direction, usually.
I get so worried that people don't know where the thing is.
But look up Baird Brewery and find out where it is. And the
Yeah.
Dram Shop is right downtown on Front Street.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
front,
Right.
next
Can't
to
miss
the restaurant
Yeah, yeah.
And
and
we
the
have these
trailhead.
dates posted on the website. Once
good.
again, that's montanawatershed.org. I don't know which camera I'm looking at.
There.
There you go.
And you can find all the information you would need there to join us for these super fun events and meaningful projects.
Yeah.
So great.
And then you mentioned something about like Fish Week. or-
Fish Week, yeah.
Is this a Lenten type of?
It's with Washington Middle School,
Oh,
7th
okay.
and 8th grade classes. We're partnering with West Slope Chapter Trout Unlimited to bring a full week of fun and learning to these kids.
Wonderful. And it's
Yeah.
a kind of like fish based.
Fish based, so fly fishing.
Oh yeah.
I helped with the riparian adventures. last year
Yeah.
and map making, but we also learn about aquatic macroinvertebrates and nature.
So will people from
Great.
your team be in the classrooms and the kids will be out
There will
in
be
the wild?
pre and post field trip visits, but mostly just morning and afternoon out in the field experiences.
Oh wow,
Nice.
that's
Hanging out on the
great.
stream.
Yeah.
Lucky Washington
Well,
students.
and take a lot of pictures and come back.
Yeah.
And then we can,
Okay.
talk about how it went, or, people get a better idea, like, we'll do our own slideshow.
Right.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, so if you're a fly fisher, we'd love to have you come out and volunteer. So,
Oh,
Oh, excellent
good
idea.
fishermen
yeah.
and women.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, great. We better move along because everyone has a job to go. Well, now you have 9 minutes, so I
Right.
hope it's close. But, dear viewer, we'll be right back. Mark Thane is here to talk about attendance boundary issues with Missoula County Public Schools. Trey Locker-Reardon is here to talk about events surrounding the upcoming St.
All things
Patrick's
Irish.
Day. Who else? Oh, Dean.
Peterson.
Dean Peterson is there to talk about Mendelssohn Club is having a concert this Sunday. So Scott's going to show you some new PSAs that I carefully selected. And we'll be right back after this.
No roundabouts?
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare Summary Notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than imagination. But don't just imagine. Use STEM to change the world.
Who's with me?
It's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
I surrender!
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
And we are back with Superintendent Mark Thane. Welcome. Thanks for coming over.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. So I understand that attendance boundary work is progressing, that there had been a demographic study, and then you know more than you did the last time, about a month ago. Hatton Littman, Communications Director, came on and told us about the attendance boundary. But Mark, could you sketch out the issue first for people so they kind of know what
Certainly.
it is?
Before we ran our bond issue in 2015, we commissioned a demographic study of the Missoula community, and that gave us 10 years worth of projections. We have seen that actually the projections were fairly accurate, but we're seeing our enrollment increase at a little bit faster rate than had been anticipated. We have seen over the course of the last 10 years about an 800 student growth in our school district. This year we're up over 100 students, and we anticipate a similar increase next year. That being said, this summer we will have completed the construction projects at all 9 of our K-5 buildings. So all 9 of those buildings will have capacity for about 500 students. So the demographic data is interesting. I think it paints a relatively consistent growth picture for Missoula for at least the next 5 years. We know that we have enough capacity for our kindergarten through 5th grade students in the 9 elementary buildings we're currently operating based on the demographic work. However, the distribution of those students across the community is a challenge. We also know that the south end of the community, Maloney Ranch, Linda Vista, continues to grow at a fairly significant pace, and there are more than 1,200 additional approved lots that have been platted out in that area. And we also have an understanding that the East Missoula area is primed for some growth, and there's a lot of work on the idea of development and redevelopment in the East Missoula area. So we're focused on those 2 areas in particular. But our goal would really be to try and achieve some balance in the enrollments of our schools. They presently range from a little over 300 students to about 500 students a building. So if we could achieve a better distribution of students, create some walkable, bikeable attendance boundaries, and also potentially reduce the amount of bus transportation we're utilizing in order to get students to school, then this project would be a great success.
Nice. And you're inviting folks to come to an open house at the Russell School. I can't remember the dates.
So we have been working with an advisory committee made up of representatives from the 9 elementary buildings as well as the district, and these are parents from the buildings. And they've been working with the data and looking at maps, and we've gone through a couple different sessions with the advisory committee. We've taken feedback at a couple open houses. Now on the 21st, we'll have an open house at Russell School, and that will be the first time we'll unveil some potential changes to boundaries. So we're hoping that we'll get great community engagement. I think the decisions that we make as a committee and recommend to the school board will only be as good as the feedback we get from the community. So we're encouraging people to come out March 21st at Russell School beginning at 6 p.m. to look at the boundaries, to provide their feedback and comments. The advisory committee and our consultants will take that feedback from the community, use it to influence yet another iteration of boundary changes. We'll contemplate yet another open house once those changes are made, with a target of taking recommendations to the Board of Trustees May 14th. We would also expect that the school board would then take that report on the 14th of May, take about a month to deal with the data, and then hopefully the board would take action in June. Because of the lateness in the spring, we would anticipate that we would not actually implement the boundary changes immediately. Probably take the next school year then to plan for those changes to be implemented. But we think it's really important to get ahead of the work, and so our timeline is somewhat aggressive.
Right. But the district has great respect for parents' concerns, right?
Yeah.
When parents hear about it, they're like, oh no, where's my kid going to school? Or is one going to go to this school? The young one is separated from the older one. And all these issues and more, you want to hear about it.
Sure, absolutely. And again, we're trying to be as transparent as possible, engage as much of the community as possible, because that's the way we'll make the best decisions for our community. So again, encouraging people to come out March 21st to Russell School, take a look at the plans, comment on the process as well as any plans, and then stay in tune with the process as we move forward.
Great.
Well, I have to say, just the ongoing dialogue that you keep encouraging has really been helpful, I think. I mean, whether you're here or you're in the newspaper or you're on television, but you guys are everywhere trying to get the word out.
Yeah, a lot of people have heard about this.
And it's very helpful.
Well, it's the Missoula Community Schools, and so we do want to engage the community to be the best that we possibly can.
Yeah. But change is happening, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, the town is growing. Remember at the turn of the century, there were so few kids.
I know.
And that's when schools were consolidated or removed from the system or mothballed or whatever. And now, who knows what parents will do in the privacy of their own homes.
And all you need to do is drive through the community, and both commercial and residential construction is significant.
Oh my gosh.
We have worked with the city. We've looked at where building permits have been issued. We've looked at the city growth plan. We also have the opportunity for public to participate online. We have a tool called social pinpointing.
Good idea.
And you can go to mcpsmt.org, and there's a button that will take you to the boundary study. And parents can actually click on interactive maps and post their comments, and that feedback is also taken into consideration.
Oh, that actually sounds interesting and fun.
Scott's showing that to the folks at home.
Do that. Even, you know, I mean, do both. Go to the open house as well, but that's really, I would like to see that before I showed up even. Just
that would kind of give you a background.
Idea. That's
now
great.
I'm terrified people won't know where Russell School is. We'll just determine that. We can let Mark go.
Yeah, it's on Russell Street.
Oh, surprise, surprise. No, it's the CMR. It's the Charles Marion Russell School. I know where, it's right by the YMCA.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
It's on that side of the street.
Right.
You can't
Can't
miss
miss
it. And it's a nice
Russell
school.
School on
I've
Russell
gone in
Street.
there.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right, Mark, thank you so
Good
much.
luck.
I appreciate it.
Well, I
Thank
hope
you
someone
much.
comes back and lets us know how that went and what
I
the
think
next
they
step
will.
is.
Sure we will.
Okay, good.
All right, we're going to be right back. I guess we're going to bring Dean Peterson now because he has to be somewhere at 5. And he has got a wonderful announcement about the Mendelssohn Club's concert coming up Sunday, St. Patrick's Day, right after this.
Missoula has grown and changed a lot since 2005. In January, we will launch the MCPS Elementary School Attendance Boundary Study. The community is a central part of the process, and you need to understand why now is the right time to look at our school boundaries. In 2015, we asked voters to fund construction for all of our schools because we desperately needed to increase capacity to accommodate our growing student population. We also needed to update safety measures in each school and develop more robust technology infrastructure. We also created 21st century learning environments in each school that allow for student project work and collaboration in new ways. In our planning for that construction, we learned that Missoulians value our neighborhood elementary schools that are easy for students to get to by walking and biking. They would also hold about 450 to 500 students. There's a bit of magic formula to that size that comes from state accreditation standards. Each school would have 21 regular education classrooms and spaces for art and music, student support services, a library, and a gym. This summer, the construction of all 9 of our elementary schools will be done. We will have the capacity for 4,500 students, kindergarten through 5th grade. Right now, we have over 3,700 elementary students, but 4 of our elementaries are 95 to 100% full. We also have 3 schools with extra capacity that are only about 75% full. We need to even out the school populations by taking a look at our attendance boundaries between each school. We expect that.
We are back with Dean Peterson. He is the director of the Mendelssohn Club. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So the concert's coming up.
Yes, this is our 74th annual concert for the Mendelssohn Club. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and it's in the afternoon.
We have a 3 o'clock concert in the Music Recital Hall over at the University of Montana. Great location for a choral concert. The acoustics in that place are just the best.
So wonderful.
They are. It's such a warm room.
Wonderful room.
Yep. Yep.
Here's the website, and I looked on the website earlier and it was explaining that the club began in 1945.
Right. Yep. Yeah. They. You know, there were a number of Mendelssohn clubs in the United States at that time. It was sort of a national thing. And the founding one was in New York City, and I believe it was way back, I think sometime in the 19th century they formed. And then they sort of satellited out throughout the nation. As far as I know right now, we are probably one of 3 that still exist.
Are you kidding?
Wow.
So,
I just assumed that they were all over the country.
No, they have died out in a number of places, but Missoula, I think New York, and I think Minnesota have held on.
Wow, that is something. It makes me think of that book that came out some years ago called Bowling Alone, which was about the fragmentation of American society. And we know we have this legacy in town, for instance, of the Elks and the Masons, where they had these enormous temple-like buildings
That's right.
that were all about the male bonding. Now they go for any bonding. They just want they want to bond.
Right.
But the club is pretty successful. You have a lot of members.
We have right now. I think we have about 35 members, and it's an inclusive group. It's not a group that you have to try out for. You walk in the door, and we just get you singing on Monday nights at 7 o'clock.
Wow.
Anyone is welcome to ever that
If
wants
I
to
hadn't
join
done
us.
city council for the last 27 years on Monday night at 7.
But it's really a great mix of people and interests and political beliefs and ages. We have everything from young men in their 20s to, we have 2 members who I believe right now have turned 91.
Wow.
So it's a really wide range, and actually that kind of brings me to the point of one of our special guests on this concert is the C.S. Porter Middle School Portamentos. It's a young men's chorus. He has 16 boys who like to sing together. They get together, I think, 2 times a week early in the day before school starts, rehearse, and so we've invited them this time.
Oh, nice.
Thinking that it's really nice to show them and to show the public that singing is not something that just happens in our public schools, that finishes in high school or college, but it's a lifelong endeavor.
You know, we've talked about this a lot, that making music is something that is so communal and really brings people together throughout life. And so many of us used to play music or sing, and then we stop. and there's no reason to do that.
Yeah, it really does build community,
Yeah.
definitely. And even when you think about it in terms of like our wonderful town and the International Choral Festival coming up this summer, it builds world community as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It does.
So what sort of things can we look forward to hearing?
Oh, yeah, tease us on the program.
I already mentioned one of our special guests, and that was the C.S. Porter Mendelssohn.
That's excellent.
But we also have a very fine flutist on the program, retired professor now, Maggie Schubert from University of Montana. This is her first year out, and she'll play with us on one of our wonderful Irish pieces, Danny Boy, and then she's going to do a set of a few songs as well, not Irish, but just some wonderful songs. So she'll be a special guest as well. We will sing a pretty good number of Irish tunes, things like Danny Boy, Wild Irish Rose, that kind of thing, and then just a really wide variety. The Mendelssohn Club is known, I think, for the variety of music that they sing. Everything, well, this concert we'll do everything from Mozart to Paint Your Wagon and Sweeney Todd.
Wow,
so we
really
cover
good.
a wide gamut: folk songs, classical songs, a couple African tunes.
Excellent.
So variety is the spice of life, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned in programming.
Yeah.
And are tickets available through other outlets, or people go to the door?
You can get tickets in advance at Warden's
Okay.
or at Rock and Rudy's.
Yeah.
Members of the Mendelssohn Club, of course, have tickets available, and there will be tickets available at the door. I believe the admission is $15 general, $10 seniors, and I think $6 students.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was wondering if on the program you were going to have any recording done. You know, MCAT offers free recording.
You know, I don't know. I'm not in charge of that part
Okay.
of things. I know we often do audio recordings, but I'm not sure. That would be a great idea.
Just a thought.
That would be a
Throwing
great
that
idea.
out there.
Yeah.
We have media assistance grants, and we record a number of concerts, like the Celebrate Piano series
Oh, yes.
for
Yeah.
Stephen Hessler. So when I think of that music recital hall, I think, well, maybe Ron
We'd
would
be
go.
delighted. We'd be delighted.
All
to have
right.
that happen.
We can talk
Yes.
about
I'll send a
Send me some
link to
information.
you and so on.
Right.
That sounds great.
Okay.
So once again, Music Recital Hall on campus. It's this coming Sunday.
March 17th,
March
St.
17th.
Patrick's Day.
That's right. At what time?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. So everybody can finish up and go home and have their Irish fare.
Right. So it's like
cabbage and corned beef. And
Parade, Mendelssohn Club, quick, and then we can have
Well,
corned
then
beef and cabbage with
Treylock is
Treylock.
probably
Yeah.
something going on
There you
with
go.
Friends of
That's
Irish
good.
Studies that day.
Yes, that
Yes.
evening for sure.
Mhm.
So, well, good luck. I look forward
Yes,
to the
Dean,
concert.
thanks so much for coming. So
Thanks.
nice to see you again.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Know it. So the balance of our show, dear viewer, is going to be discussion with Treylock O'Riordan of Friends of Irish Studies right after this.
The 2013-14 school year, we had a little over 8,600 K through 12 students in our schools. This year, we have 9,182. That's 550 more students than we had just 5 years ago. In 2023, we are projected to have more than 9,500 K through 12 students in our schools. That's 500 more students in the next 5 years. We also have a lot of families concentrated in the center of the city where school boundaries overlap a lot. Added to that, 13.6% of our current elementary students do not attend their neighborhood school. Did you know that families at Rattlesnake, Lewis and Clark, Paxson, and Jeanette Rankin often have a hard time getting their students into the school if they register late in the summer or arrive once the school year starts? Their students are often bused to other parts of town where we have openings at the right grade levels. So what is the process of completing this study going to look like? Well, as a first step, we've held community meetings at each elementary school in December and in early January. We also put together an advisory committee with representatives from each K-5 school and key community resources from planning and development as well. The first and most important work of the advisory committee will be to craft a set of guiding principles that will direct any decisions about revising boundaries. We expect that this committee will want to discuss the idea of grandfathering in current students and siblings to allow families who have already started at a school to remain there until their child leaves the school. We will also work with consultants to gather and analyze data and conduct community open houses. We will present data, options for revised boundaries, and ask for a lot of community input. The advisory committee will work with all the feedback as they work to apply guiding principles to make decisions. We expect to be able to share a few options with the community this spring. Then the advisory committee will make a final recommendation to the school board for approval. All decisions around boundary adjustments and the timing for implementation will rest with the elected members of the district's Board of Trustees. If you have any questions or would like to get involved, visit our website. All open houses and advisory committee meetings will be open to the public and noticed on our district calendar at www.mcps.
We were explaining to Treylock something about the school attendance boundary. I'm happy to introduce Treylock O'Riordan. He is the Director of Irish Studies at the University of Montana. Welcome and thank you for waiting.
Thank you so much, Joel. Thank you, Kim.
Good to have you back.
Always worth waiting for the two of you anyway.
See? Yeah. Well, I imagine there's a lot of activity, fundraising activity coming up this weekend around the St. Patrick Day celebration.
There are a lot of activities. You know, we have our traditional St. Patrick's Day celebration, and we kind of follow the same calendar of events.
Yeah.
We have Mass at 8 o'clock in St. Francis Xavier Church, Irish Mass with traditional Irish hymns. And we have our parade at noon. The gathering is at 11, or the lineup will be at 11, and it'll depart at noon. And it'll be led by our Grand Marshal, who's Jerry O'Reilly, a former high school teacher here, I'm glad to say, and our Irish Man and Irish Woman of the Year are John and Lorraine Conlon. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
We have an afternoon of activities. There's carousel rides from 2 to 4 for the kiddies. For the parents, while the kiddies are down there, they can actually retire to the Rhino Bar and try some Irish whiskey.
Nice.
Our hurling game was on at 2 o'clock. It has been rescheduled to accommodate some football, so it's on at 4:30 now.
Okay.
And then our big event is our banquet and auction, where we basically invite people to support the Irish Studies program and help us to grow and develop it, and to bring more people to Missoula, to the university. To
Now, are there still tickets available
There
for
are
that?
tickets. That, you can get the tickets at the door. You can get the tickets online by going to friendsofirishstudies.com. Or if you can't make it, you'd like to donate, you can go to that website as well. Believe you me, all donations are welcome.
Yes.
And of course, the great thing about donations, cash is green, Irish is green, so it's the green meeting the green.
Match.
Yes.
St. Patrick would bless it.
Right.
You know? I'm shameless.
Now, I'm sad to say that I've never been to the banquet.
That is absolutely
and
unforgivable.
Auction. It really is. I want to try to.
Unforgivable.
I want to try to address it this year. But tell us what happens and what people can look forward to.
It's a kind of, I suppose, a celebration of our history, and also an opportunity to invest in our future. I mean, there's a very, very special and unique relationship between Montana and Ireland going back over 150 years. I mean, a lot of people in Montana don't realize, but one time, during the struggle to rebuild Ireland, to gain Irish independence, there were 5 great Irish-American strongholds. There was Boston, New York, Chicago, there was Montana, and San Francisco.
Yeah.
So that's why you had so many of these Irish leaders coming out here, and they played a very active role in rebuilding Ireland, attaining independence, and also contributing a lot to society here in Montana. And it's important that you remember, you know, the contributions, and that's why I'm so happy to see Jerry O'Reilly, the Grand Marshal, and John and Lorraine Conlon there as well. They've done so much. So it's an opportunity to look back and to kind of remember that, and also to build for the future. You know, to say, okay, we have something unique, we have something special, and we're going to, it's been kind of given or handed to us, we're going to pass it on to the next generation. And we're going to invite people to come here to Montana to basically learn about their Irish heritage and culture. Like we have the Irish Studies program, and it's not here by accident.
Right.
It's here because of the rich history of Irish history that's here in this state. And it's one that we're going to invite more and more people to share or to participate in. And not just in Montana, but throughout the West. There's no other Irish Studies program comparable to it west of the Mississippi.
Isn't that amazing?
It is exactly extraordinary, and I don't think we kind of understand it. You talk to those in the Irish government, and they always look at the Irish Studies program in Montana as the one that takes care of the rest of America. One of them said that to me. He says, well, as far as we're concerned, on the East Coast, we got Boston College and NYU.
Right.
In the Midwest, we got Notre Dame, and then the University of Montana takes care of the rest of America.
We got the whole round.
Regional responsibility, for sure.
Well, thank you so much. I think you might give us some resources to help us do this.
Yeah, right. That's just a few miles, you know.
But they kind of say it as very innovative and very creative, and there's got
But you just touched on an important point, which is this takes an enormous amount of resources and hard work on the part of the Friends of
Irish Studies, they contribute a huge amount, and as a community in general, it contributes a huge amount to make all of this possible. And this, of course, is the time of year when an awful lot of people do contribute to the program and enable us to continue to build it and develop it. And we do get support from the Irish government. In actual fact, the second event that's coming up in the weekend is the International Festival, which is going to have an Irish extravaganza.
Really? I didn't know that.
It is, and you know, it's a kind of a partnership between the Office of Global Engagement, the University of Montana, Irish Studies, the Friends of Irish Studies, Ancient Order of Hibernians, and the Irish government. The Irish Government Immigrant Support Program also is helping to put on the event.
So what does an Irish extravaganza entail?
Well, basically we have the usual, and I don't want to sound usual isn't the right word here, we have our focus on all the different cultures that we have present on campus. But because of St. Patrick's Day, we're going to devote special attention to the Irish culture, and we're going to have Irish music, singing, dance, and then we're going to have a number of tables and booths where people can learn, okay, I like Irish dancing. I've got kids and grandkids who want to do Irish dancing. Well, here are the Irish dance representatives. If you want your kid to go and learn Irish dance, well, there's a school here in Missoula. Happen to see one in Anaconda. There's another one in Butte. So there's a number of them, and you'll find out information. Same with Irish music. You want your daughter to play the fiddle. Well, we actually have people who teach the fiddle and teach different Irish instruments. So you go here and speak to them, and if you want to get them involved, you can do so. Irish sports, handball, hurling, same thing. So there'll be a lot of kind of the celebration of it, and then ways for the younger generation and the older generation as well to actually sign up for classes and participate in the culture.
And that's all at the UC, the University Center.
That's all at the UC.
On what date?
It's on actually St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, it's on Sunday. So
Sunday.
everything else is Saturday, and that's on Sunday.
So the
International Day at University,
Correct, and so it begins at 11 bells, and then it goes till about 6 in the afternoon.
Right.
You know, and bring all the, I think, and it's very, very inexpensive as well. I think it's $5 per person, and I think a family constitutes anything from 1 to 20 kids. It doesn't really matter.
Really?
Yeah, $15. So mom, dad, and the kids, you know, go along there, and it's going to be a great event, and it's going to be very exciting. There's going to be a lot to learn, and I think the kids will be very fascinated by what's.
It's a big day. So you have the church service at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Then
on Saturday.
Oh, that's on Saturday. Oh, okay. Then the parade. We're going to be in it again. I've got to go see how to dress up the truck and get a lot more candy. Though I got a bunch of green M&Ms. And some packaged stuff. And then I've got John F. Kennedy chocolate coins. He's made his way into the Irish annals that you could buy, like the 50-cent piece in chocolate would be handing that out. But then the next day, you have the International Day with the Irish emphasis.
Correct, yeah.
And this is a good point that Irish Studies at University of Montana, you think of students between the ages of 18 and 22, but it actually, you offer stuff for the whole town.
We do, yeah, and I mean, the thing is that, I suppose when you look at the Friends of Irish Studies, well, the Friends of Irish Studies is there basically to support the Irish Studies program, but also to make kind of the resource of the Irish Studies program available to the community. So they kind of would sponsor, like we have an Irish immersion, language immersion, that goes on for a week. It's on down in Butte, but they sponsor it. They sponsor a tour, that brings people back to Ireland pretty inexpensively every summer. And it's what's interesting. They're not interested in kind of the sightseeing. I mean, the kind of argument is, okay, if you want to look at the sights, you're probably better off getting yourself a DVD or a video, getting a bottle of beer and watching it at home. What you need to do is meet people and talk to people. So their tour is focused on going into people's homes, and meeting them, sitting down, eating dinner. They're going to cook for you and getting to know them, and because they're very, very interested in Montana. Montana is not some obscure place back in Ireland. I mean, there's so many people who have come out to Montana. Like I grew up as a child knowing about Butte, and Montana, I knew about the Little Bighorn, not because I read it in the history book. I actually had a fellow inside my class
wild.
whose great-granduncle was killed at the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Wow.
So it came up in actually a class discussion we had. And when my daughter was over there at school, they were celebrating the 100th anniversary of the school. And the people in the locality knew about Montana because there were songs that had come back, composed in Montana, that were being sung locally. And when a young child was asked about my daughter, you know, who was a visitor, and she asked, where was she from? And the little girl said, oh, she's from Butte, which wasn't, but they knew Butte from the song.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
And the interview says, well, call Butte, which means where is Butte? And the girl says, oh, ta she had a ganach in Akalish. It's over the hill alongside Dingle. So in that little girl's mind, you know, Butte was someplace like, you know, Dingle or Calamia.
Yes.
But when I was a child, it was the same thing. I mean, like Butte, I mean, it was, you know, you're a kid, okay, it's part of this whole geography of your imagination. And
Right.
It was pretty darn close.
It was as close as Killarney.
Because everyone had
Dublin.
a relative there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. You know? I mean, I was to Butte before. I was to some places in Ireland. You know, I never went to Donegal. You know, until I think about 2002 or 2003.
Wow.
I was over in Donegal. But I was in Butte back around '94, I think.
Isn't that something in the way of connection?
Yeah.
But at one time, right, when the mine was at full blast, didn't Butte have the largest population
Per
of
capita.
Irish outside of Ireland
did.
itself?
Wow.
Per capita, they
Yeah.
did the largest concentration of them.
Yeah.
So it's basically they built a town, which, you know, it was unlike their experience anywhere else, because most other places they came to an existing town. Here they came to a hill and just built their own.
Yeah.
So it's a very
And then
good
lost a
Irish
quarter of it or something.
Well, if it's in the Berkeley pit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for a lot of Butians, you know, to make them cry, you just have to say Columbia Gardens to them, and then they start crying.
Yeah.
Because it was such a loss, such a beautiful place.
But it's another chapter in a very interesting history, a very important, huge chapter in a very interesting history of the Irish here. And I suppose when you think about, you know, the fact that so many people in Ireland know about Montana, you know about Butte and so forth, that it speaks to the kind of place that Montana occupies in the Irish mind and Irish imagination.
Yeah.
So these are things I think that people need to be reminded of, you know, that Montana is a special place when it comes to Ireland, and it has a special history and has played a very important role in the history of Ireland. You know, they converge.
Yeah.
It's interesting, a number of years ago there was a museum, a heritage centre opened in West Cork, and it coincided with the time when Ellen Crane was also working on fundraising for the archives down in Butte. But the governor of the state at the time, Brian Schweitzer, whose parents or grandparents were from Ireland, you know, got wind of this, and he actually sent over a note, you know, congratulating those in the Baird Peninsula for setting up this heritage centre and museum that preserved the record of their history, because he went on to say that the history that you preserve is not just the history of the people of Baird, it's the history of the people of Montana.
Right.
And he went on to talk about that we're doing the same over here, that we're working on building an archive where we also will preserve a record which will tell your story, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, he recognized, he saw the connection between both places, you know.
Absolutely.
And how that history they were preserving was the history of the Irish of Montana.
And this weekend is the time to celebrate it all.
It really is.
Support it. And support it.
Now, people want to know about the banquet. They can get tickets on the website and in any other place, or
they can get
the place
the tickets
to go?
on or at the door. Or just send an email into the friendsofirishstudies.com.
Where is the banquet, Trellick?
It's on the Holiday Inn.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Holiday Inn Parkside.
Holiday Inn
Yes,
Parkside.
right downtown.
Yeah, right downtown.
Excellent.
So, yeah, and that's where we've been having for the past number of years.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got a great relationship with Megan and all those down
Yeah.
there. They
that's
really
good.
help us a lot.
Yeah.
So that's where it's going to be. And you can get your tickets, online at friendsofirishstudies.com, or you can email friendsofirishstudies@gmail.com. MCAT.com.
Oh, there you go.
Or you can just get them on the door. You can
Okay.
email me, just go to the UN.
Yeah,
Let me know.
Scott's been showing that website. And
Yeah.
then, Scott, do you have any footage of the parade? He's
Oh,
such
that's
a-
great. We can close out with last year's
that's
parade.
what I thought. And then just to remind folks about the parade, it is this coming Saturday, March 16th, and I think it's the tradition to have the parade on the Saturday before, the 17th. And the lineup is at 11 a.m. just here by the red X's at 500 North Higgins. MCAT will have our little red truck in there. I'm going to try to green it up.
We got to spray that
in the
green
morning,
actually,
right?
you know.
And you're more than welcome to be a spectator. That starts at noon, the step off, and then it will go across Higgins Street Bridge through the hip strip.
Yeah. Right.
I think as far as that dental office, but
Grizzly Grocery.
Yeah,
Grizzly
usually
Grocery
that's
is about the end.
turnoff, yeah.
And do you need a lot of candy to get through there? Yes.
Yes,
I mean, if you're
you
like
do.
us, we're not that judicious, but there's nothing like the face of a child getting a sugar rush.
Yeah.
It just brings, it just lights up your heart, you know.
Uh-huh.
But you need a lot of candy.
Yeah,
You don't
We've
want to
made
run out
mistakes.
halfway across the
No.
bridge. That is sad.
And it is only $20 to enter a float or whatever it is. The Chamber of Commerce is handling that. So you could give them a call if you would like to be part of the St. Patrick's Day Parade. But you got to do it soon. Thursday is the deadline.
Right. Or
the
if you
14th.
just want to collect candy, you
Well,
come out
just show up.
Start on, yes,
Yep.
stand on the sides,
Yeah.
wave at us.
Well, Trey, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yes.
Thank you for waiting.
I hope
and
you
so
get
on.
to sleep all next week.
Well, that's the plan anyway.
Good.
Yeah, after the excitement. But
Good.
you know, Ron, who does a lot of our video outside,
awesome.
he's saying, I need a concert. Tell Trey I'm missing a concert. Like, remember the very Irish Christmas?
Yeah.
Well,
So he wants you to put on a concert.
we'll do that. We have a speaker coming in from Notre Dame, the Hesburgh lecture. That'll take place in April the 5th, I think I have this and on the details.
All right.
That's Professor Patrick Griffin. He's going to talk on the life of Thomas Francis Meagher.
Nice.
All right.
So that's going to be a pretty interesting. and it's
Keep
gonna
us
be
in
at-
mind, you know,
I
because
will.
Yeah.
he's eager to get some Irish
I want
info.
him up. If we can get Ron up there on
Yeah.
the camera, get him
Good.
hooked up, get him mic'd up.
Yeah, then we can
You know,
play it. Good.
That'll be excellent.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I guess we'd better go. I just wanted to remind our viewers who stuck with us that MCAT is offering a spring break media camp March 25th through the Friday, and there are scholarships available. We're asking $150 to keep your kiddo occupied, the same hours as
It's a
school.
bargain.
8:30 to 3:30. But if you don't have the money, give us a call at MCAT. It's 542-6228, and we're going to set you up with a scholarship. So I guess we better go.
Yeah.
All
People
right.
want to see a little bit of the
Yeah,
parade.
you want to see some of
Yeah.
the parade. So for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. Thanks for watching.
I'm Kim Anderson.
And we'll see you next time.